need a governor who will stand up for the people's liberties. And I'll guarantee you there's not a person in this race for governor who will stand up and fight more doggedly in determination for your liberties from the time he gets up in the morning till the time he lays his head on the pillow at night than Ray McBerry in this race for governor. I want to address very briefly several issues that I know are of importance to you. My opponents and the media have made no bones about it. Although I'm the only Republican in the race for governor who's not an elected official, who's a full-time businessman and a full-time daddy, they've made no bones about the fact that I am the strongest fiscal conservative in the race for governor, and I am the strongest constitutional conservative in the race for governor. Fiscally, I believe in what you would probably refer to as Reaganomics, less government and lower taxes. I am the only candidate in the race for governor, including every one of the gentlemen seated here to my right, who to this day has said publicly that we should repeal here in Georgia both the state income tax and the property tax and replace both of them with a simple state sales tax. Let me just tell you what that would do. First of all, one of the reasons we ought to get rid of both the state income tax and the property tax are because they're Marxist to the core. They never were part of the founding American principles that made America great. And if we're going to get back to being great again, it's going to be because we have to get rid of every vestige of socialism, Marxism, and communism that have crept into our American system over the last 100 years. And folks, that includes not just the graduated income tax like John spoke to you about, it includes the property tax. There's no reason that any American citizen, let alone a Georgian, should have to worry about losing his own home or her own home at the end of the year because they didn't pay rent to the government. I am the most aggressive pro-life candidate in this race for governor. I've gone on record from day one stating that when I take office as your governor, I will immediately begin to shut down the abortion mills across this state using the existing laws that are already on the books. One of those ways that they stay open tonight is that there are waivers that have been given to just about every abortion mill across this state so that they do not even have to comply with the ambulatory surgical regulations that other medical clinics have to comply with. I want you to know I will begin working immediately to revoke those waivers that have been given to every abortion clinic across this state. And I will begin working with the pro-life leadership in both your House and Senate to pass legislation here in Georgia that more closely resembles the belief of most Georgians, that life and liberty begin at the moment of conception. We've got an insurance commissioner who's one of my opponents in this race for governor. He says he's pro-life, and yet as fire and safety insurance commissioner for the last 14 years, he's not done one thing to revoke those waivers to shut down those abortion mills across this state. Ray McBerry absolutely will do that, and I ask you to give me a state insurance commissioner when you vote for me that will also work with me to revoke those waivers that have been given to save the lives of Georgia's unborn children across the state. The last issue I'd like to address with you is the right to keep and bear arms. For how many of you in the room today is the right to keep and bear arms a God-given right? I think all the men and most of the women raised their hand. You know, folks, the right to keep and bear arms is the guardian of every other liberty that you and I possess. It's not the only issue, but it's an important issue. Several years ago, we heard horror stories coming out of the Hurricane Katrina crisis, where FEMA and other federal agents were literally going around trying to confiscate the weapons of law-abiding citizens in that area devastated by the storm. Law-abiding citizens being threatened to have their weapons confiscated by federal agents. Now, let me tell you what a states' rights governor should have said in any one of those states. And let me tell you what I've already gone on record with Fox 5 News in Atlanta as saying. When I become your next governor, I will immediately put Washington on notice that the first time I find any federal agent trying to disarm one law-abiding citizen in my state, that federal agent's going to find himself sitting in a Georgia jail waiting for somebody to come bail him out. As I close my comments, I want to say this. I believe with all my heart, with all sincerity, that the vote you and I cast in this next governor's race is going to be the most crucial vote you cast in your lifetime. These are not normal times. If these were normal times in Georgia's history, any one of my opponents in this race would do just fine as your next governor. They're good people and I like them all. But these are not normal times. We live in very perilous days. You and I cannot afford to do anything less than to elect the strongest constitutional conservative you can find as your next governor for the next 8 years. I'll guarantee you there's only one candidate on the ballot that fits that bill, and it's Ray McBerry. Thank you and God bless you.